Staying in contact. I'm London Mitchell. These weekly visits focus on issues facing our communities in Northwest Ohio, and my pleasure to chat with individuals who are working diligently to address those issues. In this installment, we're going to talk about the problem of litter. Toledo continues to struggle with a litter problem that affects everything from property values and community pride to our local environment. That's how a recent news release from Keep Toledo, Lucas County Beautiful began. And I, for one, cannot argue the fact. Litter is an issue for all of us in Northwest Ohio, especially if we look at recent research that estimates more than 2,500 metric tons of plastic flow into Lake Erie every year. Nationwide, Keep America Beautiful found more than 50 billion pieces of litter along roadways and waterways. My guest is the executive director of Keep Toledo, Lucas County Beautiful, Adam Cassi. Research tells us that 90% of Americans believe litter is a problem in their communities. Adam and I have chatted in the past about the litter issue, and it is still hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that in this day and age, we still have litter bugs.
Right. I mean, and this is really kind of what I, in my mind, call litter season, because it just piles up over the winter. It's hard to get people out to pick up litter during the winter time, and it just piles up. And if you drive around on ramps, off ramps, especially, you see it everywhere. But yeah, I mean, up and down the trail, I keep on noticing everywhere I drive. I don't want to call out any place in particular because it just seems like it's everywhere right now. And it's interesting. There's research that I've seen that says that people who do litter don't understand how socially unacceptable it is. They think that everybody does it, and so they throw more litter out the window, and don't realize how many people find that so culturally unacceptable, and it really is. We just need to convince everybody of it.
Well, it's not only making our communities look dirty and unkempt,
Yeah.
but I would think there's probably some danger to it as well.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it just makes things look dirty and unkept, and kind of focusing on that first, there is a lot that says like it has a economic impact. People don't want to move to a city that is full of litter or bring business or be a tourist in a city that's full of litter. So having a lot of litter really does hold a city back, and has an impact on housing market. So there is the economic side of it, but there's also the environmental side. And sure, it impacts wildlife, but it does impact humans as well. Right now, 2,500 tons of plastic flows into Lake Erie every single year. And plastic doesn't decompose. It doesn't turn into nutrients, and it just becomes smaller pieces of plastic. So that's where you get the term microplastics from. And, when you go online and see seals wrapped in plastic and whales eating plastic bags, it's very marine ocean focused, but it's every single body of water. So Lake Erie has a ton of plastic in it. And the scary statistic that I've seen recently is that the average American has enough microplastics in your brain to make a plastic spoon. So
Whoa, wait a minute. Let's go back on that again. I have enough microplastic in my brain to make a plastic spoon?
Yeah. I mean, that's concerning, isn't it?
That has got to be, Adam, a concern for everyone
Right.
to think that we have that accumulating in our brains. And that I would assume is just from the micro pieces from the plastic that we use, like water bottles.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plastic in water bottles specifically, but it's very hard to filter out the very small microplastics from even your tap water. Now, tap water is a lot better than bottled water. But there's still microplastics in it. There's microplastics in your food, and there's been research on salt, on beer, on yeah, I mean obviously seafood, but it's in quite a few things.
Well, it makes you want to think about all the plastics that we use
Hmm.
in everyday life, from food storage containers to water bottles to, geez,
Yeah.
plastic spoons, I guess, when we go to a fast food place. How do we educate ourselves about throwing a candy wrapper or a hamburger wrapper out the window? That's litter.
Hmm.
Uh, we probably, most of us, don't do that. But I would assume that there is other litter out there, or things that are happening that cause the litter problem that we need to wise up to.
Yeah. I mean, part of it is just the amount of stuff that's out there. There's a lot of people eating fast food meals. You picture a fast food meal, it has so many different small parts. And there maybe, somebody's not throwing that out their window, but there's the opportunity for some of that to become litter. I mean, I've who hasn't been walking through the grocery store parking lot and accidentally lost a receipt or something like that? Like some of it is unintentional, but it really is that intentional litter that adds up. And talking about the microplastics and things again, it's estimated that there's 50 billion pieces of litter across roadways and waterways in the United States, but 88% of it is smaller than 4 inches. So we all see like the water bottle and the plastic bag, but those are pretty big. It is that small litter that is really concerning, because a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, and that is traveling, moving, and usually it's into the Maumee River and then out into Lake Erie and things. So, do what we can to not have that unintentional littering happening. But then, yeah, I mean, it is really all about education that littering shouldn't be happening. And here are all the reasons why: environmental impacts and economic impacts, social economic impacts, and yeah, and then health concerns.
Well, I think we all want to live in a clean community. And while you're the executive director of Keep Toledo, Lucas County Beautiful, I would assume that when you talk about litter issues, these are issues that affect just about every community in the country.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it is widespread, um, and definitely an issue that all of us have to fix.
So let's talk about how we talk about litter.
Keep America Beautiful is a national organization. There's over 700 affiliates across the country. So, I'm often collaborating with my counterparts in Akron and Cincinnati and Indianapolis, and trying to work together to solve some of this stuff even more regionally. There's a Keep Ohio Beautiful, who we talk with often. And so trying to coordinate and work together. But also, I do think that when I talk to a lot of people, they say that, 20, 30 years ago, there was a much larger national push. A lot of people reference the crying Indian. That was the commercial that everybody kind of relates back to. And that was through Keep America Beautiful. And I'd like to see more of that national yeah, like PSAs, but just let's all work together as a 2026 is the 250th anniversary of America. It's going to be a exciting year to celebrate the United States. Let's, get it beautiful. Let's clean it up and make it ready for that birthday. I think with that we can all do that together. And so also Keep America Beautiful does a lot of research and a lot of litter studies, and they've done something recently where they looked at the political divide, and when it came to asking the question of should we remove litter, should our communities be clean and beautiful, and it wasn't a political divide. Everyone agreed, for the most part, that we need to focus on making sure that litter is eliminated and that our communities are clean and beautiful and healthy.
What are the current laws about littering?
Yeah. So, I mean, you drive around and you might see a sign that says $500 fine for littering, which is great. And hopefully that's a bit of a deterrent, but it's very hard to prosecute and find that person. People have bigger concerns sometimes. Are we short-staffed and how do we prosecute? And so I don't know how often people are actually getting fined for littering. What we see more often is like illegal dumping. That's a little bit more of a concern that we can prosecute and track down what's happening there. So if you litter, throw a McDonald's bag out the window, don't. I mean, there's so many reasons why that's bad. But unfortunately, we struggle with laws to enforce that. If you're by the side of the road throwing a couch and a toilet and a wood pallet and illegally dumping, that's much more concerning and a bigger issue. And chances are we're going to track down who that is.
I've often talked with my wife that maybe we need a law that says if there's litter and it's in front of your place of business, you must clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you put it there or not, I think there may be uh, a time, maybe an opportunity at this juncture to just take pride in the community. I didn't throw the litter in the curb in front of my business, but by golly, I'm going to have to roll up my sleeves, put on my rubber gloves, and get it because I want to take some pride in my community and how my business looks to the rest of the community.
Yeah. I mean, great things are happening in Toledo. I mean, we got an amazing zoo that gets ranked as one of the best zoos. We've got an amazing art museum that gets ranked as one of the best art museums. The mud hens and the walleye are fantastic. And my goodness, look at the metro parks and all the stuff that they're doing, especially downtown. Like there should be a lot of pride in Toledo, and there is. And this is one way to show your pride for Toledo. First, don't litter. Second, help pick up that litter, either through Keep Toledo Lucas County Beautiful or through, just going out and getting it. But we do run a adopt a street program. And we do have a lot of businesses that will adopt the area in front of their business. But last I looked, maybe 26, maybe 28, I think businesses across the county. It could be a lot more. We could use a lot more help with that. And one thing I often put out too is anytime you go on the city of Toledo's social media, so many people complaining about potholes, maybe rightfully so. But if you didn't litter, the staff and the money that go towards picking up litter. I mean, we spend a lot of money in the city of Toledo and, throughout the entire county. I forget the amount of money that ODOT spends on just picking up litter. But it's a lot. Those same staff and that same funding could be diverted towards, hey, we're going to fill potholes instead of clean litter today. So if you want to take responsibility and feel pride for your neighborhood and your community.
You've got an event coming up in just a few days. Ramp It Up. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I think this is our third or fourth year of doing Ramp It Up. And like I said, I mean, litter piles up over the winter. This is a great time to get out and kind of launch our litter cleaning season, which runs all summer long. So Ramp It Up is the first big event that we do. It is focused on ramps and off ramps. So we have a list of maybe 8 different ramps that we've identified this year as the most troublesome. And so we're looking for volunteers the morning of May 3rd to go out and help us clean up those ramps. And then we have a few sponsors that help us get lunch afterwards. And then we meet over at the Glass City Metro Park and all the volunteers come and have lunch. So it's a great way to feel good about going out, improving the community, and then having some time to celebrate that with everybody afterwards.
And you're asking people to register ahead of
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So yeah, so that way you can go on our website, register for the ramp that you want to clean up. And then through that registration, we obviously then also know how many litter tongs and bags and gloves and safety vests to send to each location and how much lunch to get. So it is you do have to register. We've got 2 ramps that we've got listed as kid friendly, where we want to keep safety in mind. So those ramps that are a little bit more busy and don't have green space kind of adjacent to them or focused on adults. But there's a couple that if a family wants to come out, they're close to a park or close to some green space that we can also have the kids doing some litter cleanup as well.
Adam Cassi is the executive director of Keep Toledo, Lucas County Beautiful. Their website is ktlcb.org. That's ktlcb.org. I'm London Mitchell, inviting you to join me next week as we continue staying in contact.
Previous episodes of Staying in Contact with London Mitchell are available on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbeam, Podchaser, the Stream 419 app, Spotify, and londonmitchell.news.